Hello, I'm Ciarán Lynch and welcome to OviCast, the Teagasc Sheep podcast. Each episode will bring you latest insights, advice and technical updates for the sheep industry. Now, the Fodder Support Scheme opened for applications this week. Sheep specialist Damian Costello is joining us to tell us a bit more about it in this week's episode. Damian outlines the focus of the scheme and the potential payments and some of the key dates involved. We discuss the eligibility criteria, maximum payable area, and we finish up with Damian explaining how you can submit an application under agfood.ie and when the payments will be made. We start off with Damian giving us a bit more background to the scheme itself.
It opened last Friday on the 17th of June, and it's open for applications up to the 2nd of August. So it's a payment for people that are to support them in the conservation of hay and silage this year. So it includes hay and silage that has been made so far, and also silage that will be made between now and the 5th of September, the deadline for having the crops cut.
So Damian, that support measure, it's to cover some of the increase we've seen costs this year. How much of a payment is involved and what kind of area are we looking at?
It's €100 per hectare is the payment rate, and it's up to a maximum of 10 hectares, so €1,000 per applicant is the maximum payment available.
So Damian, who's eligible for this scheme?
Yeah, the Fodder Support Scheme is open to all farmers that have submitted a BPS application in 2022. If they're in a milk supply contract, they're excluded. So dairy farmers are excluded from the scheme. So it's mainly aimed at the dry stock sector.
So you said, Damian, it's only applicable to dry stock farmers, beef and sheep farmers. Are there any restrictions on who can apply within that category?
Yeah, any farm that is supplying milk, have a milk contract, they're excluded from the scheme. There was some concerns that Category 1 land under the ANC was excluded from the scheme, but I understand that provisions are now being made to include these areas in the scheme as eligible.
So the 10 hectares, Damian, it's silage or hay. It's from anything that's cut already up until the 5th of September. So maybe the basic example, what about somebody who cuts 5 hectares twice? Is that eligible for payment, that same 5 hectares on 2 cuts?
It is. In the application, the applicant will be asked to indicate how much they intend or have already cut or intend to cut as a first cut, and there's a separate section for second cut. So the example you gave there, Ciarán, is perfectly okay. There are 5 hectares for first cut, close the exact same land again. It's 5 hectares for second cut, so they'll be eligible for the full 10 hectares and the €1,000 payment.
Just maybe when we're talking about what's eligible, what about lease ground?
Yeah, lease ground is fine. Again, once it's eligible for the 2022 BPS, and importantly that it's declared on the applicant's 2022 BPS. So, for example, some people maybe buying standing crops or something from another farm that's on somebody else's BPS, that's not eligible for the person maybe that's cutting or conserving that crop. It's just their own land, whatever is declared on their own BPS for 2022.
Just when we're talking about declaring the BPS, I'm assuming partnerships are also eligible for this aid measure.
They are indeed, yeah. Partnerships are eligible, yeah.
Okay, so we kind of covered the basics of who's applicable and what's involved in it. How do you go about making an application?
It's relatively straightforward, but it is an online application, so you can apply you can apply yourself by logging into your own agfood.ie account, or equally you can your agricultural agent or your advisor, whoever looks after that for you, can apply on your behalf. So you can go through your agent, or you can apply in your own right.
And if you want to apply yourself, Damian, could you maybe take me through where would you look on your agfood?
Yeah, people who use the agfood account regularly would be familiar with the login procedure. You scroll down through your list of various different headings. So it's under the heading of exceptional aid measure. So when you click on that exceptional aid measure tab, it brings you to a screen where there are three options. There's the Fodder Support Scheme 2022, the beef exceptional aid measure, and the beef finisher payment. So of those three options, you're picking the Fodder Support Scheme 2022. So this brings you on then to give you your own details, I suppose, as recorded on the department system. So when you verify that, it brings you on to an area where it displays the total area that you've claimed on your basic payment scheme in 2022, and it includes the non-payable areas, and so the total eligible area for inclusion in the scheme is highlighted there. So then you're asked to enter the details, I suppose, in terms of what you're committing to cut in hay or silage, or maybe have already cut in the case of first cuts. So there's two boxes to put in. So the number of hectares that you're committing to cut for first cut in 2022. In your example that you gave there earlier on, you'll be putting in 5 hectares here. And if you're closing that 5 hectares again, or if there's another area of ground that you put in the remainder of what you plan to cut between now and the 5th of September. So there's 2 boxes. One is for first cut and one is for second cut. So once you've completed that, there's a submit application button. Really important. Yes, you declare that you've agree with the terms and conditions. There's a couple of boxes to tick there, and then you're clicking. And very important to remember to click the submit application button to ensure that your application is successfully submitted.
So it sounds complicated, but when you're actually in it, Damian, it might be a very straightforward process.
It's not. Yeah, maybe I've made it sound complicated, Ciarán. It's fairly straightforward. As I say, it's getting into the page, the number of hectares for first cut, the number of hectares for second cut, and pretty much submit after that. And
obviously, Damian, for some it might be larger than 10 hectares, so that's going to go in, but you will only get paid on that first 10 hectares that's in.
That's right. Yeah. Particularly people, there could be people making much more or closing a lot more ground than that, but it maxes out at the 10 hectares, so you're not getting paid anything extra for that.
So just, Damian, in terms of any other information farmers need or agents need to record for this, do you have to take photos of this ground for silage, or how do you go about proving it?
Yeah, no, as far as I can understand, there isn't any requirement for uploading photos of the crop or anything like that. I understand that there will be both administrative and on the spot checks for applicants. So the important thing, I suppose, is accuracy in terms of completing your application. That whatever you're applying for, that you can send over it. But the department will be carrying out administrative and on the spot checks with applicants.
And then the payments, Damian, when will they start for the scheme?
What we're hearing is that late November, that payments will issue into farmers' accounts in the normal way. It's late November is the time that they're looking at.
Okay, so maybe just finally, Damian, you might just highlight what the key dates are again. So the scheme is open. When is the applications closed, and when does the silage have to be cut by?
Yeah, the scheme is open since last Friday. It's an online application using AgFood or your agricultural agent. The scheme closes to applications on the 2nd of August, and the hay or silage that you're applying under must be cut by the 5th of September. So that's the cut-off date for having your hay and silage cut for eligibility for this scheme.
Definitely something to consider for anyone. Damian, great having you on.
No problem, Ciarán. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to leave it there for this episode. As Damian has outlined, the scheme is open and is a support measure there for dry stock farmers. I have included a link in the description to a dedicated webpage the Department of Agriculture has for the Fodder Support Scheme that will cover various aspects of what Damian has discussed, as well as the terms and conditions of the scheme itself. That's it for me for this episode. Again, for any updates from our sheep programme, keep an eye on our Twitter page at Teagasc Sheep. I'm Ciarán Lynch. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe and get notified of any new episodes.